Hey all! So today what I'd like to talk with you about is what it is that I'm looking for when I'm analyzing somebody's posture and what I'm trying to correct that allows posture to fall into its natural and healthy alignment. So to do that, I've brought along my handy dandy spinal segment model. This is the front of the spine. These are two vertebrae. This is the back. This part is bone, this part is bone, and this in between, this is the cartilaginous disc. If you've ever heard of a bulging disc, this is what bulges. If you notice, there's this yellow thing right in there that's passing through a canal. So that canal runs all the way down the length of your spine, and the yellow thing here is your spinal cord. Your skull holds your brain. In the base of your skull, there's a hole about that big. It's called the foramen magnum, which is just Latin for big hole. Through your foramen magnum passes the brainstem and the spinal cord, and the spinal cord continues all the way down through your spine. Between every two levels of your vertebra, there are branches that come off of the spinal cord. That's what this yellow structure on the side is meant to represent, called the spinal nerve roots. These then connect to the nerves that go to your arms, to your organs, to your skin, to your muscles. Everywhere where there's communication necessary in your body, handled by the nervous system, the nerves feed into the spine right here. Okay? You may have noticed the big red button. When I push the big red button, aha, the green light flashes. What the green light is meant to represent in this model is all of the tissues at all of the various different levels, all of the organs, all of the skin, all of the muscles. They're sending signals up via the nerves. They're getting to this nerve root, and that information is going up to your brain, and your brain is interpreting it and sending instructions on what to do with it. Now what's happening? I just saw a patient a few minutes ago who said, oh, that's where pain is happening. That's a really good guess, and it makes total sense, except so what's really happening here is the information from your nerves that's coming into the spinal level here is getting distorted because of pressure or tension on the nerve that's inappropriate. This is pretty oversimplified, and the explanation is actually a lot more complicated, and the science is a little bit more involved, but let's keep this understandable for this level. Otherwise, this will be a half-hour video instead of a 10-minute video. So the nerve has got tension on it, and it's changing the way that it's functioning. What caused that tension is this very, very small distortion in the positioning or the alignment. Again, this is oversimplified, and the real story is a little bit more complex. We can talk about it over coffee sometime. But for now, we're going to say a misalignment is causing disruption in the nerve function. Let me give you an example of why this doesn't cause pain and what's really happening. Take your finger, if you will, place it against your eyelid. You may notice that this doesn't hurt, but you can feel the sensation of your finger on your eye. Maybe if you look back and forth, you can feel the shape of your lens. Hold it here for another moment, and when you take your finger away and close the other eye, you may notice that your vision is very slightly blurry, but it didn't hurt. So obviously your vision will clear quickly. It's probably back to normal already. But what if we had left your finger there with that very light pressure, perhaps the weight of a quarter, 5 to 10 grams, for 10 minutes, or an hour, or a day, or a month, or 15 years since that car accident, right? The pressure doesn't necessarily ever hurt, but the damage that it does is cumulative. This very small misalignment is creating tension on this nerve that doesn't necessarily hurt here. It just changes the function of the nerve, and therefore of all of the tissues that that nerve talks to. When this happens, this small misalignment and the distortion of the nervous system function, the body wants to protect itself. And the way that it protects itself is by laying down scar tissue. It wraps this whole area in scar tissue and fixates. So if you have a fixation in the spine, that's causing an irritation and a change in function biomechanically. This part doesn't move, so everything else has to move differently. But it's also causing a stressor on your brain because there's information that's getting up to your brain that's distorted because of this. Okay? So there's a neurological component and there's a biomechanical component. And we add the fixation and those three pieces, we call a subluxation in chiropractic. Subluxation is the distortion in alignment with the tension or change in function of the nervous system, accompanied by fixation that holds it in place to try to protect itself. So that's what I'm looking for whenever I do an exam on somebody. When I find subluxations and then I correct subluxations, what I find is people's posture gets better. Their heads drop back. Their spines soften. Their bodies line up more straight up and down. The really big changes that I'm trying to track in my practice, though, have to do with the brain changing function. How you are moving through and perceiving the world when you're subluxated versus when you're not. People tend to be more open. People tend to be less anxious. People tend to sleep better. People tend to make better choices. There's some recent good science out there that's showing that every time a chiropractic adjustment occurs, the prefrontal cortex lights up. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that inhibits compulsive behavior. So it's the thing that gets you out of instinctive mode and into intelligent decision-making mode. Who doesn't want more of that? So if you are concerned that some of the symptoms that you're experiencing, be they pain or fatigue or anxiety or low immune system function or organ problems or digestive problems, because all of those things are coordinated and controlled by the nervous system, if you have a subluxation, that subluxation is contributing to your problem, and I can help you correct it. And your posture will get better, and you'll look more relaxed, and you'll feel more relaxed, and you'll feel more open. So please give me a call if you need some help. I'd love to be of assistance, and we can get you feeling better soon. Okay. Bye all.